welcome back to another Blind Tuesdays. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content channel as of late. This one is going to be hopefully kind of quick because I'm fairly busy at the moment. I just have my thoughts percolating, so I figured just to get this one out as quick as possible. For this Blind Tuesdays, we are doing a film from the 90s, and I said before that I was curious about maybe making this also a horror segment as well. Whatever I spent on, it has to be horror related, but I feel that would be very limiting in terms of what I can talk about throughout the month. So I'm just going to keep it general. But film of the weeks are still going to be dedicated to horror, so that we can have something to discuss during the holiday season, or to reflect the holiday season. So for this one, I'm actually going to be dipping into comedies, because I was looking at stuff from the 90s. There were some films here and there that I could have gone with. For a hot minute, I was going to do Pulp Fiction, but I feel as that I would want to kind of revisit that film, because it's been a while since I've watched the entire film from beginning to end. So I just want to wait on that. But, excuse me, that was my alarm going off when I'm getting too close to someone. But for this, I'm going to do something, I guess you could say, of a cult classic film that's kind of garnished interest as time went on. A Jim Carrey film also. So that film that we're going to be discussing is Dumb and Dumber, which was, I believe, written and directed by Peter Farrelly, or both the Farrelly brothers, and Peter Farrelly most notably directing a couple of comedies here and there, but in most recent years he directed the film Green Book, which went on to gain some Oscar traction and also some interesting controversy that was spawned in terms of the just dynamics that was made in that film, about a black person and a white person during this time, interacting, and the kind of lessons that they learned from each other. But this is Dumb and Dumber, and this stars Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. Jim Carrey plays Lloyd. For the life of me, I've forgotten what Jeff Daniels' name is, but they are both simple-minded people, we'll say, as the film kind of illustrates in a more vulgar manner. I'll try to be nicer. And they are, just kind of living out their lives, kind of scattershot type lives. They both have individual jobs, but they're, like I said, as the title suggests, a bit simple-minded. And one day, Lloyd, played by Jim Carrey, interacts with a girl that he starts to fall in love with very, very quickly. And she leaves a briefcase behind. And this briefcase starts off a chain of events that ends up with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels heading out to a certain location to where this girl is, to give her suitcase back, but ultimately get wrapped up in a huge criminal affair that involves this suitcase that is linked to the entire dilemma, and centralizes at the heart of it with these two. For what the premise is, about two idiots, I guess, just to be vulgar about it, I think that what the film does, to some extent, well enough, is to utilize that manner in a kind of clever manner, in a manner that is obvious, in that it's frank. It understands that it's manner, but it's not flaunting a manner of stupidity just to match that. It's using a certain manner to highlight the cleverness within its overall production and screenplay. So it's not a tone that which could have very easily have taken away from it, and kind of just one the same match that of these two characters' personalities. And in some ways actually highlights a lot of the cleverness within its pitch and its concept. And for what the pitch literally is on paper, there absolutely is room for this concept to just implode on itself and just become something rather just frankly just dumb. But it doesn't do that, thankfully. There is room for some clever jokes, for some good humor, mainly to do with the spirit of Jim Carrey. A lot of this film kind of relies upon Jim Carrey's energy and what he brings to his films. A lot of the wacky and very just outlandish, the type of just like cartoonish level of expression is, a lot very much embedded into the spirit of this dynamic. And Jeff Daniels actually does well too. I mean, Jeff Daniels is just, in general, just a good performer. I think I remember hearing about Jeff Daniels having doubts about doing the film. People were saying that, well, you shouldn't do this. It's just kind of be a frown upon career. And now the film is very much the thing that people know him for. So, I mean, for what it is, I mean, its simplicity within its dynamic, its simple-mindedness can at sometimes, become that of the spirit of the film. But there is an edge to it that does, provoke a layer of cleverness within its overall production and the concept, the pitch itself. I think that there is some cleverness that is there. There's some memorable scenes, particularly, with when they pick up they think a hitchhiker, but is actually an agent, trying to, intercept the suitcase, and the banter between, these two and him in the middle. That's funny. So it works a lot because of the spirit of those performances, because of what Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey are doing together. They work well with each other, and they play off well with each other. And thankfully that is given thankfully with that there, the filmmaking feels a little bit more elevated, and the suggestion of a concept that is potentially clever is present, and it's not just downright stupid. So, because there's a careful line that you have to walk on a concept like this, because like I said, you can just for example, actually the sequel to this, Dumb and Dumber 2, I think actually is, to my memory, just stupid, because what this film does, oddly enough, is find a middle ground to where they can be self-aware, but at the same time rely upon that simple-minded nature, and kind of find that a balance in between that. Sometimes it does wane on within that simple-minded nature, but then it finds its footing sometimes back to the other side of things. With the sequel, it doesn't do that. From my memory, it just is just dumb. So there's a suggestion to a cleverness within its writing, and the performances are definitely what keeps everything kind of intact. So it's definitely garnered a following since it came out. I mean, a lot of people my age talk about that movie. I feel like some people probably give it a lot more credit than it actually is owed, but I give it credit in what it actually tried to do, in that it is trying to utilize this behavior, but ultimately shape it to where it's not in the spirit of, it's not just purely in that one, the personality in the filmmaking is one and the same. It's to try to give certain color to this pitch, and to some extent it does kind of show. It's brief, it's small, because I feel that a lot of the simple-minded nature kind of outweighs that cleverness, but it's to say that I can notice that it's there. And the performances are good. I enjoy Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels and their dynamic. I'm not crazy about Jim Carrey, like, generally as a performer. I think that shtick that he does become overplayed and very just one-dimensional, but it's one of the few times where that sort of behavior actually is warranted and works. So it's fine. I mean, as a kid, I loved it. When I first watched it as a child, it definitely was funny, but as time went on, it's definitely waned, and it's definitely not as funny as I remember it to be, but there's some cleverness there. And like I said, the performances are definitely what is keeping the film afloat, and with that you get something that is tolerable, at times humorous, and like I said, there is the suggestion of an underbelly that promotes the idea of potential cleverness, which is, I would say, not found in the sequel. So but yeah, not a bad piece. Definitely, definitely just fine at best. Depending on how you gauge the film and what you make of its humor and its delivery, I think that it may determine whether or not you see the film as something to some extent clever or pretty dumb. So for me, I found a little bit of both, from what I saw, and from what I remember. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Dumb and Dumber. I think it's fine. It's fine. It does the job. I think it like I said, it walks that line steadily, and then it kind of progresses a lot into that simple-minded nature, kind of feeding off that a lot more, and you get something that is okay, and it's mainly to do with the idea, the suggestion, the awareness, I must say, of its screenplay, and the detail of that progression, and how it is actually not as simple-minded as you may think. There is some level of creativity that is embedded into that script. Not so much with its sequel, not so much at all. But with this, there is definitely the suggestion to that I've made known many times in this review. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Dumb and Dumber. You guys let me know your thoughts on Dumb and Dumber if you guys have seen it. Of course, like I said, it's developed a cult following over the years, so let me know your thoughts if you guys have seen it, your thoughts on the sequel as well. Never saw the prequel, which was like, in 2003, 2004, so never saw that. But let me know all your thoughts on all things Dumb and Dumber in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.